So I saw this one making the rounds yesterday, and I have to admit, as someone who is relatively new to Warcraft, it doesn't really impact me that much. But I know for people who are long-term fans of the franchise, Chris Metzen is like Jesus. He's like this godlike figure who was central to the lore of the original games and then the early years of Warcraft all the way up until his retirement at 2016. Um, I know of him, and I was extremely interested in his Ouroboros project on Kickstarter a couple years back, which he was putting together as based on his original D&D campaign from back in the 80s. I think he is a brilliant writer and creative individual. It's very interesting to me that he has now been announced as returning to World of Warcraft as a creative advisor for both World of Warcraft and other projects that the company has going on. Now, what does this mean exactly? If you dig into the press release, it essentially they're just stating that according to the official announcement on their website, it says it's great joy. This is from Hype, by the way, who is Warcraft general manager. Said with great joy, I announced Chris Metzen has joined the Warcraft leadership team as creative advisor. His focus initially will be on World of Warcraft. Then his work will expand to other projects across this growing franchise. Chris was one of the original team members working on the Warcraft universe back when it launched in 1994, and we were happy to be reunited with him within the world he helped create. Apparently, he designed the classic orcs and humans, as well as the Forsaken and Night Elves. He also serves, I guess, continually as the voice of Thrall, longtime Orc war chief, and poster boy for the Horde. Um, I don't know if he's still going to be working on Ouroboros. I mean, it's his world, it's his setting. So, but I think what's important to know is based on projects that I've worked on in the past as a creative advisor, you're basically a glorified consultant at that point. I feel like, and I could be completely wrong here, um, I feel like Blizzard is trying really, really hard to get back to where it used to be with Warcraft. They brought back talent trees, something that people had wanted for a very long time in terms of, wanting to get the game back to what many people saw as its classic roots with Dragonflight, bring that back. I've heard nothing but good things about Dragonflight. I haven't gotten to it yet. I purchased it. I'm in the middle of Shadowlands right now. I am enjoying Warcraft a lot, playing it for the first time ever. I've been doing Classic since May. Classic is kind of winding down right now, but I'm still involved in retail, playing retail with Chris. She's a first timer. We're really enjoying the game. Um, but to me, this doesn't impact anything I'm doing. But I do know for many, many people, they're viewing this as Blizzard trying really hard to get back to their roots. They want to try to get the storyline back. As I understand things, a lot of people were upset um, with the Shadowlands expansion, I believe, with Sylvanas. And I think it even says here, it might be another article that I read. No, it does say, it says it's experienced up and down since Metzen's departure. The Sylvanas storyline, which carried through for Battle for Azeroth the Shadowlands, was largely panned by player base due to narrative inconsistency and mishandling of beloved characters. Um, so it's going to be very interesting to see if his return as a consultant, creative advisor, whatever you want to call it, is going to have any impact. Or, I mean, I see the company taking strides to get Warcraft back to where it used to be, or at least get back in the good graces of many of its fans who feel like the franchise has gone to the wayside in recent years. But I also realize that for many people, this is also going to be just a way to placate people. So this could also be a way to say, hey, we're trying to sell the company to Microsoft. Microsoft wants us to bring this guy back. We're trying to get in the good graces of everybody so the stock prices can go back up. Chris is one of those beloved figures who was there during the initial formative years of the company from 1994 all the way up to his retirement in 2016. So he had a 20-year span. Um, of creating lore and being like at the head of everything. But there's also controversy now because he was there during all of the sexual harassment stuff that went down, and even announced an apology in 2021 for the part he played in the. He says His apologies, along with Mike Morhaime, was for the part I played in a culture that fostered harassment, inequality, and indifference. So there's a lot of people who have been making comments recently about saying, well, where's his punishment? You know, he was there. He was a part of that, even though he may not directly have been involved with anything. He was a part of part of the culture that contributed to this. Why is he not getting punished? Why is he being allowed to come back into the spotlight? He should be canceled, all this other stuff. You know, I don't know. Again, I'm not hugely entrenched in the Warcraft franchise. But I do think this is an interesting thing because from what I understand of the guy and from what I've seen with the Ouroboros project, and from what I've read about him over the years, is that he is a brilliant storyteller, someone who has deep roots in tabletop like myself, someone who is a good writer and has a vision for creative storylines and creative arcs and creating really cool storylines for races and overarching stories that tie together. So given the fact that their last couple of expansions have been heavily criticized for the storyline not being that great, I think that this very well could be um, a move to get them back on track. Whether it's successful or not remains to be seen. Whether or not this is something that the fans are ultimately going to embrace or not remains to be seen. But I do think it points to the company trying to get to a better place as they transition to this buyout with Microsoft. Um, Now, I know that that deal is currently in the middle of, I think the FTC just recently sued to try to block it because they're complaining about a monopoly being able to be put into place if these conglomerates merge. There's a lot of stuff still surrounding that, but I don't know. It's an interesting thing to me. Again, I'm just now starting to get into Warcraft seriously, and I would say that I'm a little sidetracked right now because I'm also doing God of War Ragnarok and Witcher 3 Next Gen, which are taking me out of Warcraft a little bit. But I'm still playing a couple times a week in retail. I'm having a lot of fun in Shadowlands. The overall storyline doesn't really impact me that much. I'm just having fun with the characters and zones that I'm going through. Bastion was pretty cool. I'm really loving what is it, the Adelwald or Whaled or whatever it's called, like the elfy fawns and fairies and everything else. It's a lot of fun. I did not like the undead zone they had me going through though, but the storylines have been pretty good so far, and I'm really enjoying that. I'm really looking forward to Dragonflight. I've heard nothing but good things about Dragonflight. I've heard nothing but good things from people who really like the return to the talent trees and everything else. So it sounds to me like the company is already moving back towards being in the good graces of its fans, and bringing Metzen back on as creative advisor is just another step in that direction. Again, I don't know what this is going to do for the Ouroboros project. It may be to the point where he could just hand it off. He may still be involved with it because creative advisor is not a full-time position. It's a consultant position. So it's not like he's going to be doing any full-time work. It's just going to kind of be as an ongoing as needed basis. But it's intriguing. I'm intrigued. I'd love to know more. Hopefully this is going to bring better things about the game because I'm enjoying it. I'm hoping Chris continues to enjoy it. Anyway, like, subscribe, hit that bell icon, support with a membership, super chat, super thanks, all those good things. Don't forget the Patreon page. See everybody in the next video. Until then, peace.